Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the facade of JFK High School. But in all seriousness, a huge amount of thank yous really need to go out for this concert, particularly this evening. As you know, my name is Michael Rogers, the Director of Music and Performing Arts here in Plainview Old Bethpage. And due to the very amazing bond work that's happening throughout the district, our high school concert is taking place here this evening at Madeline Middle School. And that is with the incredible support of our building administration, our central administration, our Board of Education, but a special thanks really must be given to the maintenance and custodial staff and buildings and grounds who really moved a lot of equipment to make sure this could happen, really helped us out. Let's give them a round of applause, please. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I did want to share this thought with you. The other day at one of the middle school concerts, I mentioned to the audience that from the time a student is in kindergarten to the time there's seniors, they go through a musical journey here in Plainview Old Bethpage. And on the course of that journey, there will be many stops. And tonight is a stop on the later of their journey where you will hear some of the finest orchestral music on Long Island with some of the finest musicians, with some of the finest teachers. And that's just the first half. The second half, you'll hear our jazz band this evening, featuring our jazz lab and our jazz ensemble. So, I don't want to take up too much of your time, as I said before, but on behalf of the music department, Plainview Old Bethpage, we wish to express to you and your families very happy and healthy holidays and a wonderful new year. And it is my pleasure now to introduce your conductor and maestro for the evening, our high school orchestra teacher, Mr. Glenn Rubin.
Good evening. First piece we're going to play, the Chamber Orchestra is going to play a piece called Hoedown by one of the premier 20th century composers, American composer Aaron Copland. This is a movement from a ballet called Rodeo. And when you listen to it, if you think you've heard it on some commercials on TV in the background, you have. It was made popular about 20 years ago by the beef industry. You will hear, there was a whole set of commercials about beef, and this was playing in the background because it's kind of a Western kind of music. So in any case, without further ado, this is Hoedown by Aaron Copland. and violins, please go through this way and around. Violas, please. That was the finale to Joseph Haydn's Symphony Number 104. He actually did write 104 symphonies. We think he might have written more, but we haven't found any more yet. So I'd like you to go home and look in your closets. There might be some. Okay. In any case, but he did write 104. And that was the last symphony he ever wrote. It's called the London Symphony. It's really wonderful. We're going to slow it down a little bit, change the pace. This is a beautiful tune by a famous English composer named Gustav Holst. Holst wrote many, many string pieces, including a famous one that we have done here in this orchestra a couple of times over the past few decades, called St. Paul's Suite. And he also wrote The Planets, if anybody is familiar with that symphonic work. Great, great composer. So this is in the bleak midwinter. Listen for the mysticalness of this music. It's just so gorgeous. And we have two percussionists to help us out somewhere. Lexi? Lexi? There, she's there. Okay. And Allie. Okay. this will be a first. It was about 2 or 3 years ago that kids came into theory class and they came into orchestra, all a buzz about some new musical in New York. And I listened to it a little bit, I heard little tidbits of it, and I hated it. It was called Hamilton. And then kids started playing some pieces for me in the theory class and so forth and so on. And you know what? I really like this work. I really do. And I've told the kids that if you don't like something, you have to listen to it at least 3 times. And then after the 3rd time, if you still don't like it, then you're just not going to like it. But this is a musical that just grows on you and grows on you. And the genius of Lin-Manuel Miranda is to take what's popular today and make it into such an art form. It's just absolute genius. So this will be the first rap piece that this orchestra has ever played. But in order to complete the rap, we first need a drummer, so Elliot. And we need a rapper. So, we actually had auditions. And 4 vocalists came and auditioned, and they were very courageous. It's really hard to audition on a piece like this. But the person who is going to be our vocalist tonight came in and just was unbelievably great. He came into the audition, every word, every note was memorized right away. Okay? We've had wonderful rehearsals with him. I can't say enough about Mr. Alexis Lazo.
I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. And yo, I'm just like my country, I'm young, scrappy and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I'm here to scholarship to King's College. I'm out of shit, I got a dagger, you're making a astonishment. The mom is got a lot of bricks but no polish. I got a holler just to be heard with that very word. I drop knowledge, I'm a diamond in the rough. A shining piece of coal, trying to reach my goal. My power speech unimpeachable. I'm only 17, but my mind is older. This new city streets getting colder. I shoulder every burden, every disadvantage I want to manage. I don't have a bunch of vanish. I walk the streets famished. The plan is to defend this spark into a flame. The day is getting dusk. Let me start the name. I am the A-L-E-X-A-N-D-E-R. We are meant to be a colony that runs independently. Meanwhile, brain keeps spinning on us endlessly. Essentially, the Texans relentlessly. And King George turns around and runs a spending spree. He ain't ever gonna set his descendants free, so there won't be a revolution in the century. And I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. And yo, I'm just like my country, I'm young, scrappy and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. And yo, I'm just like my country, I'm young, scrappy and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot.
I know you didn't like that at all. We're going to move on, and we have something very, very special. I make it a point in the orchestra that if I have a student who is going to go into music performance or music education, that they have an opportunity to conduct the orchestra. I have a reason for that, is because when those students go to music school, one of the hardest things they have to learn is how to conduct. And I remember that first day in conducting 101, and it really was scary. So the more opportunity and experience that we can give our students who are going on to carry the torch in music for us to conduct, I think the better off they are. So tonight we have a very special young lady, Toni Nargentino. I have taken notice of her since she came in as a freshman. She has been absolutely sparkling. She's been one of the leaders of the orchestra the entire time. She is going to go into music education in January. She will begin her auditions on violin for one of our major music schools to do her music education degree in strings. We are very fortunate to have her tonight. I'm thrilled that she's going to do that. And without further ado, our guest conductor, Miss Toni Nargentino.
Can't use that old thing.
We now have a symphonic orchestra on the stage. We're going to play a piece that I first came across when I was 17 years old. I was at a 2-week music camp up in New Hampshire, and I was in the orchestra, and I was also in the band, and I played tenor saxophone in the band. And so there was this wind ensemble piece that I really took a liking to. It actually turned out that the Variations on a Korean Folk Song by John Barnes Chance is one of probably the top 20 all-time great wind ensemble pieces. It's a great piece of repertoire in the band ensemble. This is a transcription of this for orchestra. It's interesting because usually it goes the other way. You have orchestra pieces that get transcribed for wind ensemble. This has gone the other way. But I think you'll hear that the piece when John Barnes Chance was composing, I think he was thinking symphonically the entire time. Let's see if you agree. This is Variations on a Korean Folk Song.
I was told we forgot the Santa hats last year on the bases. Well, there they are.